All right. So Barry, I've come to find that we're the problem.
Well, I mean, that doesn't surprise me whatsoever, because we normally are.
We're the problem with starting live on time, and we're the problem, but it's not our fault. I'm going to say that.
Okay. Why is it not? I guess, are we going to go for the because people have updated their own software, i.e., Restream, that the stuff that you've done clearly has been, you've been such a long established member of the Restream community that they haven't acknowledged the fact that you've been there and needing to keep the setup that you already have, something like that.
So let's expose a little bit of the behind the scenes in the pre-show. Why don't we? Because that would be fun. What? You're here. I want to reward the people who are here. Yep. I think this is a great idea. This is a great idea. What could go wrong?
Well, I'll say one thing that's going wrong already. Your quality is awful.
No, sorry. Don't tell me that. All right. Wonder for the router issue. Okay. Hey, look. Here's.
Whoa.
How do I fix this? Yeah. You want behind the scenes? Here's behind the scenes. Look at this, everybody. You got a full behind the scenes look right here. How do I do this in a way that's not going to be obnoxious? I think what I'll do is, nope, that won't work either. There's no way. Maybe this. Okay. That might work out a little bit better than what we have. So let me just walk you through really looking at here in Restream. And let me, if you will. So what you're looking at here on the bottom Restream, this is our environment where we manage going live. So you can see all the stuff that we have up here in the top left corner, live all over the place. We're everywhere. You can find us anywhere. Cool. And if you look in the top right, there's a little button there that says end stream. I am not going to do that because that would make us go bye-bye. If you are not live, that button says go live. And when you click that button, it actually brings up all the channels that I pointed out over here with all the details about where the stream is going. And before, there was a button at the bottom of all that says like confirm or go live or something. The last 2 times that we've done this, so I guess, 2 weeks ago and now, when we attempted to go live, that button was not there where it normally is. So I don't know what we did last time, but this time we tried a hotkey and that worked. But we're here, and thank you for being here. And we've now just shown you a little bit of the behind the scenes of our studio here. You can see that we're currently playing Future Pop. And then I don't want to expose the whole thing, but yeah, you can see a little bit of what's coming down the line. This here you go. You got This Week in Aviation loaded up, ready to go. God, did you think they were here with us? Sorry to break the illusion. We're all busy people. So that's what we got loaded up, and all these are the controls down here. If you do want to be a live caller, wish we had one last week. That was exciting. I weaved it into the show.
Oh, check you out.
If you want to be a live caller, you can do that. When you get into this environment here, there's a little thing down here that says private chat. And this is something that only Barry and I can see. Don't type any profanities in there, Barry. Oops. I'll capitalize your name.
I was going to say.
Hi, Barry.
Hello.
See, he could type back. And so when you join us, and if you want to be a live caller, again, right here, at least in the pre-show or the post-show, or the main show, you know what? We'll live dangerously. Why not? You can let us know what you want to talk about right down there in that corner. We'll bring you on when it feels right, or the conversation leads to that, or we can segue into it. and we'll give you plenty of heads up that we're going to bring you on, and then you can either be camera on or not. Doesn't matter. We can work with either. You'll be a disembodied voice, or you can choose to be on your device as well. But anyway, that's a little bit of the behind the scenes look there into our studio. Now studio, go away. How do I? Bye.
It could vanish.
Bye. All right, now let me turn my attention to you. By oh no. Now let me turn attention to you. There we go.
Yay!
Somewhat in the middle there. I'll put it right next to my camera. Oh, okay. Hi. How's everybody doing? How am I sounding? My quality sounds bad still?
No, your the audio is fine. It's just your visuals.
Great.
It's better. It's so no, the audio is all good.
Audio's great. Visuals is a little yikes. I wonder if that has to do with this. Let's try this. I'm back. It's a little sharper.
Ooh. I don't like that. It's sort of different. I don't know how you best. It's
okay. Well, we'll try. We'll try this again. You'd think that after so many years, I think 10 years of this, we'd have figured it out by now.
Well, we're still getting into our groove, though, aren't we? So
a little bit. You know what? That's right. We were on a big hiatus for a while, and now we're back. And so, you know what? Thanks for that reminder. We are.
But then we're always learning.
We're always learning. Continuous improvement.
Yes.
Yeah.
And other such things that management like to get away with.
Yeah. And hey, if you're if you're watching or listening, you don't want to be a live caller, but you do want to contribute to the show. We'd love to hear from you. What are your thoughts on the two stories for tonight? So one is sort of this restructuring of the Artemis program. The other story is an observatory sending out what's the correct term for it? A metric shit ton of notifications.
A lot.
800,000 of them in a single night.
Exclamation mark.
So if you have thoughts on those stories, feel free to type it in the comments or the chat wherever you're watching or listening. We would love to hear from you, and we could bring those comments into the show.
Which would be fun.
Certainly.
Oh, man.
I don't know why this always happens, but I always get like notifications during this, and it's funny. It's the lab.
Okay.
The lab is going off, so that's I say it's going off, but there's one comment in there that I just saw. So hey, no, that's good. That's good. There's ideation happening in the lab,
which is always helpful.
Yes. So I don't feel like there's a whole lot of prep work to do, because you have really saved our butts here by doing the prep work. I'm super thankful for that, Barry.
Well, considering you do like most of the time anyway, I figured you sort of messaged me going, "Oh my god, I've got so much work to do." Then I was like, you know what, I should probably try and pull my weight a bit and do some for once.
Every once in a while, got to pull a Hail Mary, huh?
Yeah. But that's a poignant phrase.
Do you see what I did there? I did there?
That's very exciting. So we've only got, what is it, a week to go before the actual the movie.
The movie, yeah.
And then I think we sort of spoke about it last week to some of the reviews, but I've seen more reviews, like sort of critical reviews, and they're all good. Everything is saying. So I'm almost wondering whether it's going too far now, because everyone's saying it's going to be amazing. And
overhyped.
It's overhyped.
Yeah.
I still think that there was a thing that we alluded to last week that I was saying that I thought they'd let the cat out the bag in a Sixth Sense sort of way. And they did an interview with the writer Andy Weir, and he was saying he wasn't that upset about it. He wasn't that annoyed about it because anybody who's read the book already knows, and most people who are going to watch the film will have read the book, or probably would have read the book. So it's not like it's like it was in The Sixth Sense, where it was a cinematic thing. Everybody who, or at least half the people who's going to watch the movie know what that is. So right. It's not a surprise. Yeah, we shall see.
So if you want to read along, I guess we're kind of doing an impromptu book club in our Discord server. I've put it in the random channel.
Oh, it all crashed out. Back. So he just went, everything was disconnected, and he's saying the host wasn't there, and then he's come back. Yeah, I've never seen that before.
So we're
still alive.
We're walking on precarious.
Yeah, but I wonder whether this is as much a restream problem as it is as anything else, because I've never seen it do that before.
Yeah, we are still live. That's great.
Where does it used to tell you where your sort of signal strength was?
Yeah, I don't know where that is. Is that
settings? Because there used to be a thing, because it used to be quite good at saying that the stream strength was very good, and so at least we had some anticipation.
Back.
Because am I coming across grainy to you at all in my picture, or is it all fine?
You're fine.
Good. I mean, I'm quite pleased about that, just from a very selfish sense. Yeah, it's interesting.
Okay, we need more male body positivity. You're fine, Barry. You're fine.
You're slightly grainy, but looking fine with it.
Oh, thanks, man.
I've got a day off tomorrow, and I'm very excited about it.
Ooh, that's wonderful.
I'm going to learn a different type of pottery.
A different type of pottery.
I'm gonna for anybody who watches the Pottery Throwdown things, they have this big thing that comes along where they have this thing called Raku Week, and it basically means that you fire pots to a really hot temperature, but rather than then doing it slowly like you normally would, you take it straight out. You apply things like hair and stuff to it to make interesting burn marks on it at like 1,000 degrees, and then you cool it really quickly as well. And so it's really sort of what's the word? It's just high impact. It's so almost dangerous, as it were, that to the pot and also to yourself, because you don't want to touch a 1,000-degree pot. Who knows what might happen. So I'm going on a one-day course tomorrow to learn all about it and to give it a go. So yeah,
we'll do post the results.
We if they're good, I will. If they even if they're not, I will. With my pottery stuff, I tend to post all of the good and the bad, because otherwise I use the pictures and stuff to sort of keep my own record, and so I can look back over stuff and go, oh yeah, I made that, and oh yeah, I messed that up. So yes, I will put stuff up. I'm also just quite excited about going on a training day that because it's been a long time since I've been on some training that I'm actually looking forward to.
Oh, I think I see what happened.
What?
Well, you remember how we used to have one of those other layouts there on the left? We no longer have that layout there on the left. At least not on my end. Do you have it?
I can't see your layouts.
I mean, do you see like the vertical layout on the left side of the?
Oh preview? No, hold on. I'm not on full screen. Give me a second. No, that's gone.
Oh, yeah. So I can't see that. Anyway, I'm so curious what we look like on all the platforms. This is in a lot of ways, it feels like they have broken this environment, but also have introduced some really cool things. Like before, you were only allowed to share one desktop, but now you can share two.
Yeah, I was noticing, you can also bring in second cameras easier.
There's like a lot of stuff that you can do, but I think in doing that, they're breaking some of it. So
I want to see. I wonder if I've got a spare camera kicking about, because I'd love to try the second camera thing.
Add scene. Okay.
I'll lend my second camera to my son. That's a shame. I must try and get myself a second camera. I can't afford to get myself a second Elgato because they're really expensive. No, I guess if I could justify getting myself the Pro, is it the Pro 2 now?
The new one, yeah. Oh yeah, yeah. And then we could
See what I'm doing there?
Wow, you're a bad influence, Barry.
Yeah, I know, right? But they've got some different types now because they're not like the big square ones. I'm sure that we've had. Let's just go shopping for a moment.
Oh, okay. We're shopping in the pre-show.
Webcams. Yes, because the Facecam 2. So these are Facecams that we've got. Because you're on Facecam as well, aren't you?
Yeah, I'm on. I think we have the same one.
Yes. Oh, what's that? That's cool. Let's find webcams. Capture. Oh, cameras. There we go. That's what I'm looking for. Oh, you've got the Facecam Neo, Facecam 4K. What's a Facecam Neo? Oh, that looks pretty. Okay, it's a lot smaller than the thing, than our current one, but it's has all the bits.
Yeah,
that could be a thing.
Oh, you know what's interesting? Hang on, I don't think I've actually shown you this. This may be a cool little behind the scenes thing. Give me a second here. Oops. All right. Yeah, there it is. Maybe if it wants to go. Come on, go. Do the thing.
Are you trying to scan the QR code?
Yes. It's not working. Okay, I'll just do it the other way then. I'm an admin. I can just log in. Self-assigned importance. I'm an admin.
Did I tell you I bought myself a prompter?
Oh yeah. How is that going for you?
It isn't because the way I've got my screen set up. So I've got my two screens in front of me, my two large screens. I need to be able to get the prompter to go in the middle of them, and I can't. I need to either get another monitor stand to put my monitors on, and therefore rearrange stuff, because it just the two. So it's more, unless I move the camera and have it over there as a dedicated area, but it doesn't work that way. So what I thought would be really cool isn't as cool as I think it is, especially with what we do in terms of having, we've got notes and we've got other bits and bobs kicking about.
Yeah. You know what though? I mean, like, it could be really great for scripted stuff.
Absolutely. That's what if I could get it set up right in the way that I want it, so it can be there when I need it, then I think I would have my restream thing directly on it, on the top with some notes underneath it, because you can do it and I could have like say when I'm reading the news and stuff, I could have that overlaying this, because it does have a proper teleprompter view where you can put the script in and stuff. So it'd be fun to play with that, but I just can't get it set up, so it just sits there at the moment, which is a bit irritating.
Oh yeah, my quality is.
If I did get the second camera, I could have that. You know, like when news anchors turn to the camera and turn to do the bit to camera, I could do that. That could be cool.
And now for more. Yeah.
Yes. That's a future. So
I wanted to show this. If I could just figure out how. So I actually here, I'll give you my second camera here. Oh wait, that one, what am I looking at? This is looking at me. Hold on, give me one moment. Let me swap this one facing back. And then here, I'm gonna give you a behind the scenes at the studio.
Cool.
So I got the lights up there, I got the show notes. But this right here is the camera. So I have it actually lowered into my screen. So you can, see, so when I look at the show notes or when I look over here to you, it's like just off center.
If we're gonna do that,
are we doing behind the scenes? This great. Let's do it. Yeah. Okay.
Oh, I'm gonna. Oh, you got to do it in Safari, haven't you?
Here, I'll take mine away. And then I'm going to get the hell off of here because I think it's impacting my bandwidth, which I am so looking forward to the day that I can get Google Fiber here at this location. They are building it literally streets away from me. And that day will be very, very good. All right, you let me know when you're ready for Barry Mobile to come in here.
I think I'm ready for Barry Mobile.
It's front facing.
To grant access to the camera. It was working 2 seconds ago, you absolute muppet. Why won't it access? It won't work. Why isn't it working?
I guess you could just flip it around.
No, well,
get it on the.
Well,
like I see you. I see you in the preview here.
Well, on the camera.
Yeah, I could.
Okay,
you bring you on.
Yeah, bring it up. Let's see what you can see. Oh yeah, it does, but it doesn't come up on my thing. Oh, that's cool. Right, so if I do that, so this is my back stream. So that's my teleprompter over there that I was talking about.
Yeah,
all sitting up there, but my camera sits up here. So that's everything that you can see for my screens. And there's me looking at now webcams. But my camera sits just up here. So it comes in between the two screens. I can drop it down a bit more if I wanted to. But my problem is my desk is so thin here because I'm so close to the camera, which isn't cool. So
yes, I was very smart about not panning my camera down so you'd see not the exposed nest of wires here on my desk.
Oh, so mine isn't too bad, and that's why I can sort of do that because actually it's relatively clean, surprisingly. I have my one book over there that I've been doing, but also you can see that I've also got my Stream Deck that I haven't set up in ages. I don't use it very often, but yeah, so that's me behind the scenes. Right, so I will now turn that off.
You want me to kill the feed? Oh, you got it.
I killed it.
Did somehow through all that the music cut?
It might have done, and we were 1 minute away from going live. I just put that out there.
All right. Oh yeah. Hey, you know what? All right. Why don't y'all stick around? We'll be back to start this show that Barry has prepped, and I will read, and we'll make a show out of it. And thank you for being here. And if you have thoughts, type them in the chat while we're going, and we'll bring them into the show.
So don't send.
Okay. We'll be right back right after this. We'll start the show.
Welcome to Human Factors Cast, your weekly podcast for human factors, psychology, and design.
Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of Human Factors Cast. This is episode 316. We're recording this episode live on March 5th. March 5th, 2020. I had to check the date. Why did I put 3rd in there? Maybe this is when the show notes were live. I don't know. March 5th, 2026. Again, Human Factors Cast. We're starting off great. I'm your host, Nick Roome, joined today by Mr. Barry Kirby,
who wrote the show notes and didn't realize that I was reading English and not American dates. So yes, that's entirely my fault. Hi.
How you doing on March 3rd over there? Are you in the past?
It was great. Yeah. No, how's it in March 5th?
It's great over here, man. All right. We got a great show for you lined up for you tonight. We're going to be talking about space, all things space. And I love this because it is not AI. All right. So let's do the space talk. But first, any programming notes from you, Barry?
So in 1202 land, as mentioned the other week, February's episode is up, a chat with Martin Thodey, who's the current president of the CIHF. And it's great to get his perspective and chat with him about how he finds it being president. And we sort of chat about what comparing our experiences. This month's interviews is kind of around the corner. It's going to go live in a week or so, but we're also looking forward to April because it's going to be EHF 2026, which is the annual conference of the CIHF. So I'm hoping to be able to come out of that with a whole bunch of conference gossip, and I'm hoping if I can actually remember to take my power cables this year, that we'll get some interviews and things like that while we're there. So I'm not actually doing, I have no official responsibilities. I'm not delivering any papers or anything like that. So I'm going to be a mere observer of things. I'm going to be enjoying chatting to people. So I'm hoping to bring that to you. And just a reminder that if you're using the 1202 website, then you need to be using 1202pod.com. So 1202pod.com. Otherwise, you apparently get viruses and stuff if you go to the old website because people are nasty and horrible. So yeah, so that's it for 1202.
We've done a great job with this intro, Barry. We've full competence on display. And while we're talking about competence, I figured this is a great time to plug the lab. If you want to work with a bunch of competent people that is not me and Barry, they are much more capable than us.
You can tell who makes the show happen, and it's not us.
That's a thing you can do. Reach out. Let us know what your situation is, and it's a volunteer lab, and there's plenty of great folks in there working on great things that are really great, focused on communication in the field of human factors. So there's my once every 6 months plug for the lab. So let me know if you're interested. All right, why don't we go ahead and get into the news? That's right. This is the part of the show all about human factors news. Barry, I only managed to mess up my lines once or twice. So let's see how you do here. What's the story this week?
I don't know what you're trying to say. It's not AI. We are not talking about AI. How exciting is this? Instead, we're heading into space, but we're looking at it through a very human factors lens. And both of the stories we're discussing highlight something we talk about a lot on this show, the relationship between humans and increasingly complex systems. Whether that's astronauts working within one of the most ambitious engineering programs in history, or scientists trying to make sense of vast streams of automated data coming in from modern observatories. So we've got two really interesting examples tonight. One about how organizations manage risk and complexity in human spaceflight, and another about what happens when technology generates more information than humans can realistically process. So let's start with NASA. NASA has announced a major overhaul to its Artemis program, the effort to return humans to the moon for the first time since the Apollo missions. The agency is now targeting 2028 for the first crewed lunar landing, pushing things back in order to add more testing and demonstrations before attempting the landing itself. The concern is that Artemis involves a lot of first-time operations, new spacecraft, orbital docking maneuvers, the lunar landing system, all working together in a single mission. So NASA is effectively slowing things down to reduce risk and better understand how these systems interact before astronauts actually head for the lunar surface. The 2027 Artemis 3 mission will be used to get at least one lunar lander into a low Earth orbit, meaning that either SpaceX and or Blue Origin will get to make most of the opportunity to use one of their lunar landers. Also, the new spacesuit made by Axiom Space is going to get tested. So from a human factors perspective, this raises some really interesting questions about system complexity, operational risk, and how organizations decide when a system is truly ready for humans to rely on. Nick, how do you feel about this delay to the program? Do you think it's a good thing, bad thing, or are they just hiding?
Do you want little child Nick, who is probably really upset that he can't watch a moon landing for another few years, or do you want here in direct opposition about their feelings on this?
Well, let's go for young Nick first, and then bring in sensible Nick later.
All right. Young Nick is very disappointed and sad that he can't watch a moon landing. And you know, as a dad too, my son is really into space right now. In fact, he was very interested about how YouTube thumbnails are made because I showed him the space background for this one. He's like, "How do people make thumbnails?" So from that perspective, disappointed that I can't share that excitement with my son or my past self to experience the joy of a moon landing. Just gotta wait a few more years. That being said, the human factor side of me is actually really happy to see this. This is systems engineering on display. I think this is really cool to see a priority on safety. And especially when you think back to some of the more recent events here, with like astronaut health, they had to bring back an astronaut from the International Space Station, and especially with space disasters in the past, I think having safety as a front and center consideration for something like space exploration is amazing. Putting that safety in the public view is really cool. It actually elevates our field in a lot of ways because yes, safety is a huge part of this, and the systems approach is actually a huge part of this too. Being able to see this progress in these chunks or these smaller iterative missions that go through and add little pieces of complexity to like they said a large operation that has many moving pieces with many new pieces of technology. It's going to be much better to spot anything that's going wrong with the program at those in those situations rather than wait for an all go of trying to conduct a moon landing. I think this is pretty cool to see, actually, from a human factors perspective, especially when systems are all working together. Your takes are, because I know you've talked to folks from NASA in the past.
Yeah, thanks for teeing up. Just a nice little plug there. So we in 2022, I think it was, we spoke to people from the Artemis program, particularly the Orion program, and that was from like season 2 to 13. And it was really interesting to chat to them about what they're doing. So when you consider that these people have been into this for such a long period of time, I sort of get from their perspective they're gonna be disappointed in this delay in the way that it's gone. But I think, as you say, I think it's from a safety perspective, it's if there's any sort of fear, concern at the moment, the right thing to do is to pause it and see where you go with it. I guess the other element to it is how they recover from this, how they make the most of that opportunity, and what they do. I guess the interesting thing from a organizational part of this is actually the attitude of the NASA administrator. So the NASA administrator now is Jared Isaacman. And if you've not heard the name before, you think you've heard the name before, he was actually the commander of Inspiration 4, which was the first all-civilian spaceflight by SpaceX. Very much a buddy of Elon Musk. He's a self-made billionaire, I believe, and really seen as a some people accused him of buying his way into that SpaceX mission, but he was actually he's put the time and effort in to be a trained astronaut. So it was interesting when he got made NASA administrator by this administration, many believing that Elon Musk pushed for him to be there because they're buddies. So there was a lot of fear at the time of him coming along and pushing a more of a, I guess we could call it a SpaceX approach, the fail fast, and just do things quickly and get things moving, because we know SpaceX has basically had a lot of failure to get where it's up to, but obviously very successfully. So I think a lot of people expected to see NASA almost change to maybe this more commercial approach. He's also been really critical, or he's been a real proponent now of seeming to bring things out into the open more than what even NASA has done in the past. So he recently, and I think it was either yesterday or today, did went on the record in a briefing about the Boeing Starliner program. And we obviously saw the Boeing Starliner have issues getting to the International Space Station, and then there'd be issues around actually will they be able to bring their own astronauts home, and in fact they didn't in the end. It made an automated return, but Jared then did this briefing which lifted the lid on not only the findings of the failures of Boeing, but also NASA itself, in terms of organization and safety culture and things. So I think where a lot of people expected Jared to be this maybe fly by the seat of his pants type approach, when he's got into NASA, he's really lent into this safety culture, and so that's really, I think, really interesting to see from a perspective. And also I also wonder whether he did go into it thinking he would bring in this new culture, but actually realized that NASA is just a different beast, because NASA really does have to put safety first. It's not like, this is where I think the difference is. I'm not saying commercial companies do not put safety first, but NASA really has to have the golden thread to all of this. It has to be whiter than white, cleaner than clean when it's doing this stuff, because it's a government organization, because it's government funded. They have to make sure that the safety of the citizens absolutely comes first. And as we saw with some of when they've had some previous catastrophes, reputation is such a fragile thing and gets damaged so quickly. So I'm really sort of excited by the ironically by this safety culture still being present. We're such a bunch of geeks, aren't we? Getting excited by the safety culture. But I think it's absolutely true that that we're excited by the fact that the safety culture hasn't been eroded. In fact, you could argue it's been strengthened. And the fact that, but they're also not saying it's all off until they've done it. They're saying, we want to use the opportunity to then also advance the science, so they can test these landers that they want to play with. And also in doing some of the background around this, because I was particularly interested in the Axiom spacesuit. I also learned why spacesuits are orange, which was interesting for me. So you'll see the spacesuits when they're actually in space are all white, but when they actually get into the rocket, into the spacecraft, they're wearing orange suits, and they wear the orange suits for launch and re-entry. So if there is an incident, that bright orange doesn't occur in nature, and so they should
find the bodies quickly.
Well, easy to find. If there's injuries and whatever to recover, recover crews and or bodies in the worst case. But yeah, I didn't. It's them sort of little things that when somebody explains it, you're like, well, of course, that's obvious, that's brilliant. But it's the sort of things you don't think about. That's why you have specialists doing things. So yeah, I think it's interesting. We'll see where it goes.
Yeah, if I were to temper my expectations, or not my expectations, if I were to temper my excitement about this and sort of offer a critical lens on it, the critical human factors practitioner in me says, why wasn't all this safety stuff considered at program or earlier on? I guess better late than never. Um, I think there's also some risk associated with this approach too. It's a double-edged sword, because if you're sort of increasing this launch cadence, if you're launching more rockets, there's sort of more opportunities for things like things to go wrong. I'll just say it that
Mhm.
way. There's more opportunities for things to go wrong, even if you're testing iteratively. So I think if I were to come at it with a critical lens, which we often do right off the bat, I just wanted to flip the script here and be excited about something first, and then say, "Here's my critical take." We do it all here, folks. That's the human factors promise.
Yeah, absolutely. I
uh,
mean,
yeah.
it is an interesting thing where you talk about when you mention about why didn't they do it off the bat, and I guess there could almost be two answers to that. One is that yeah, they've just been not negligent, but maybe they just haven't considered it early enough, and they should have done. But it could also be evolving issues within the program itself.
Sure.
And so there is a whole bunch of new stuff going on. And if people have felt pressured, it is really a chief engineer's call of turning around and saying, we just not there yet. They're pushing and pushing and pushing. And you know, good engineering teams work well under stress. Their good engineering teams will move mountains, but sometimes the mountain is just too big, and it takes a really good engineering manager, chief engineer, to turn around and say, "Look, we passed that peak stress stage where actually it's just getting dangerous, and we're just not evolving as quick as we need to in a safe manner." So my feeling from this story and the reading I've done around it is, I think we're more in that latter, where they just haven't they're just not developing on pace, and there's critical things that are just not happening, and so somebody's made a a brave call, I think. So it'd be interesting to know. I've not been able to find out anywhere, but it'd be interesting to know where the call came from. Um, it's somebody will take responsibility, but somebody lower down the food chain will have started going, this isn't working, this isn't right, and how that reporting cadence went up to see whether how quickly that was acted upon. Because if somebody was raising the concerns a year ago and it's only just come to light, that's almost as bad as what you were saying, where or suggesting could have been the case if they didn't, if they didn't know right at the beginning. But if this has been a fairly recent thing, within the past, normally a review would be maybe anywhere within 3 months. That's for something this large. That's probably about the right sort of cadence.
Yeah. I was looking all around my desk for a prop, like a coin. So I guess we can use this. This is just a mount for equipment.
Okay. Yep.
Okay. So this is a two-sided coin, right? And I think this story has a lot, and I tend to think about this as like, I run a human factors communication lab. I have to think about the communication aspect of this, right? So I'm thinking about this, the whole, like, here's side one, right? This is, I guess, the more sexy side, and this is the
Yep.
more structural side. Okay, the sexy side, a moon landing is sexy. A moon landing is cool. A moon landing is exciting, and it can generate a lot of public support for this type of thing. Um, and here's the flip side. the structure, right? The structure, the slowdown. It's less cinematic than a shot straight to the moon. It's less cinematic, but I think in a lot of ways it reinforces the structure. See, it reinforces the idea that we are looking at caution not as something that we shy away from, but rather that we embrace, in our engineering teams. And I think that's beautiful. I think also, if you think about the again, the structural side, if you have these structure, these different schedule changes because of unresolved issues, if the public sees under the hood here, what does
Mm.
that mean? Well, it could lead to less trust in some of these like hugely government funded programs, which is not a good thing, right? So that's the ugly side of the coin. But again, on the flip side, hey, look, if you do a good job after this course correction and everything goes well, this actually does model very well what having these safety review checkpoints or having some sort of what good accountability in engineering teams actually looks like. And so I think there's a lot of a lot of beauty and ugliness, but exposing that structure to the public is I think ultimately a good thing. I just think that there's a lot that depending on the execution here, the way that folk engineering, our field of human factors, safety critical system is largely going to be impacted by big decisions like this. So I'm very interested to see how this all plays out, and I really hope that this is a good schedule change that ultimately leads to more trust in these types of programs focusing on safety.
So do you think then that given, I mean, we're obviously very much around human factors communication. It's something we believe passionately in, hence we do things like this. Do you think that people like NASA, and particularly say NASA HF people, should be considering the impact to public trust, public perception, when considering things like this, given that this is a public body? I'm just thinking back to films like, I mean, it's a bad thing, but the Martian,
Martian,
for example,
yeah.
they bought in in that bit, but also go back to Apollo 13, and there was them discussions there around what's going on, and when things were going wrong, then they shut everybody out in order to deal with the problem. Then nobody knew what was going on, and it wasn't until afterwards that, or sort of immediately after, or people, there was a void where people are going, well, this is happening, and other people were filling that gap. Do you think is this a human factors thought that we should maybe have more about perception?
That's a fascinating question. And I think ultimately public relations is not our job. Our job is not to spin good human factors practice into something that is acceptable for the public. What is our job is to make sure that these things that are, safety critical, mission critical tasks and systems operate as they should. I think that's not to say that human factors can't have a role in PR. I'm just saying that I don't think the people working on the systems should be the people concerned about the messaging to the public. I think if you were to ask me structurally, I think there should be an embedded human factors person in the PR team, right? That
Yeah.
then communicate, that is the liaison between those working on the systems and communicating with the public. Like, hey, we're making, here's the bullet point list. We're making sure that these things are safety and that this is the reasoning behind. And then it's up to the PR team to spin that and say why this is a good thing. So if you were to ask me, no, I don't think the people working on directly on the systems, that's not their job.
So let 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 me challenge you.
Go ahead.
because it's fun, isn't it? So I would have absolutely said what you just said, in the grand scheme of things, because it's still, PR teams are PR teams for a reason. They're really good at it. But I've been doing a lot of work recently and today in human machine teaming and trust, right? And kind of what we've just been talking about, saying that, that NASA is a public body and all that sort of stuff. Part of the machine, the overall system, because part of why we do space is because we can. To quote Kennedy, it's not, we don't do things because they're easy, we do them because they're difficult, and they provide targets for government and basically hope for the citizens. So if we're doing something like this, and considering the wider impact, I'm not saying that we should be involved in delivering the spin, but should it be a consideration in saying, well, actually, because we want to show that we have safer engineering, yes, let's put it back and make sure we communicate that to the public as quickly as possible? Or do we just steer away from that public thing completely? I don't know. I honestly, from my own perspective, I don't know what the answer is right now. I think that when considering the wider system, so considering the wider ambitions of the program and why it exists, I think there might be value in considering it in a way that I've not considered it before.
It's very interesting that you say all this, because in the day job, a lot of times, what we'll do is help craft a message around some of the things that we've been implementing in the system, and that message goes off to leadership, and it's up to leadership to pick and choose what they want to disseminate, to communicate what changes have been made to the system. And so we very carefully craft that message. And a lot of times, our relationship with leadership is very good. And so they'll take what we say and not change much. And that's good, because then we've thought about what is the best way that's easily digestible, to understand what has changed with the system, what process or procedure that you need to do in order to do XYZ task or workflow. So there's a lot of things that do go into it. And so when I initially made my no, it's not their job, it could be, it could be part of it. I think, in a lot of ways it's part of my day to day, and I don't even think about it like that. I think about it as like assisting with communication about the things that we built, and not necessarily, a messaging outward public facing thing, because it's to a subset of users, right? And I guess you could flip that and say, hey, here's the message that we want to convey to people who might be unfamiliar with this. I think I was thinking of it in two different ways, right? One is messaging to the users of thing, and then one is messaging to the public. But in a lot of ways, I it's already embedded in my process. So sure, Barry, let's do it. Let's start doing it.
Think of the world. So I'm just having a quick look as well at the Artemis spacesuit. So the by Axiom Space. Again, so it's slightly outside the bounds of the story to a certain extent, but again, it's interesting seeing the differences between that spacesuit and what we've seen going up in other NASA missions, but also with SpaceX, because obviously SpaceX has a I guess a much leaner, should we say, spacesuit, one that is less bulky. It obviously doesn't have to do the same role, the same job in the same way, but it's interesting seeing that evolution and the different people get involved in that development. So Axiom has brought together, I believe, Prada and Oakley into this development, which is not names you'd normally associate with a NASA space launch. But yeah, so I think that might be a subject for a future discussion around about that type of thing.
I think we actually might have ties to that spacesuit too, like in the lab. I need to go back and check, but I'm pretty sure we have somebody in the lab that's worked either on some element of that. I need to go check.
Yes, now you said that, I think we do.
I think we do too. Okay. All right. Speaking of communication, do we want to get into this next story?
No, I want to say talking about this one. No, but we'll stay in space. But we're going to shift from astronauts to astronomers. And our second story highlights a completely different type of challenge to what we've just been talking about. Astronomers working with a new observatory that constantly scans the night sky recently woke up to something like 800,000 automated alerts generated in a single night. 800,000. These alerts are triggered when the system detects anything that changes in the sky, and that could be asteroids, supernova, changes to stars, or anything else that moves or suddenly appears. This technology is incredibly powerful, clearly, but it creates a classic human factors problem: information overload. So when machines can generate hundreds of thousands of signals in a matter of hours, the real challenge becomes designing systems that help humans decide what actually matters to them. So this story is a great example of what the growing challenge of a human-machine collaboration in a data-rich environment can be, where the limiting factor isn't sensors or computers anymore. It's the human ability to interpret and prioritize what they're telling us. Nick, 800,000 messages in one night. How are you coping with that?
Alert fatigue. Yay. Cognitive overload. Wahoo. Look, there's real challenges here with trying to parse 800,000 messages a night. And I think, well, I'm sure we'll talk more about it, but sorting and filtering these messages to what's applicable to certain astronomers, what's applicable to certain scientists, is going to be a huge boon with this issue of trying to find a needle in a haystack, right? I think there's going to be so many cool things and cool discoveries here, but it's like drinking water through a fire hose, where you need to be able to understand what is being blasted at you and how to take that information and make it relevant to you. And so I don't have a whole lot of initial thoughts other than I'm excited to dive in, and this is going to be a good one. What are your first takeaways there, Barry?
Well, I mean, first up, how cool to be able to get so much data and to be and then to be directed on where all them changes are. I mean, so what we're talking about is the Vera C. Rubin Observatory, which is just newly opened, and this was a trial run. And when you look at what they're trying to do, if you can, I guess, straight up task analysis, let's do some casual observation. And astronomers are sat there and looking, because the sky's massive, and it sounds like such an obvious thing to say, but it really is. When you're looking, and as we get more powerful telescopes, you can see deeper into something that you don't know where the end is. And so any little change that you can see, I mean, we see stars twinkling in the sky and things like that. But for an astronomer, that's a significant event, because you can see, why is it twinkling? What's it doing? So just to see one small change on a 360 view that is just getting denser and denser as the technology gets better. How do you even track that? How do you understand that, note it down, keep your records as it's getting bigger? How do you even start with that data analysis? So that is just a massive challenge. So while we're not talking about AI in this episode, this is still a hugely powerful system that is providing massive amounts of information that fundamentally needs to be sorted, sifted, and allocated to the right people. Because we're not really talking about one person getting 800,000 messages, so, though I'm sure there's some system administrator there going, oh dear God, as they get copies of everything. But assuming that the certain areas will be allocated to certain astronomers, and so they can do their bit. That's a lot of data being filtered to different people. It'll be interesting to know sort of what filtering do they have in place to filter in, filter out things. What controls do you have? I've worked on systems, on quite a lot of systems that particularly around alerting and things like that. And alert management and message management is just such a huge topic to try and make sure that the most important stuff gets to the top of the list, so it gets put in front of the person in a way that that is meaningful, and also stays there if needed, or they get put back. I mean, we're talking some impressive technology. I mean, the camera is a 3,200 megapixel camera. I mean, that's just huge. And during this test run, it captured millions of galaxies and stars scattered across the Milky Way, in addition to 2,104 never seen before asteroids. I mean, just the numbers are just colossal.
Yeah.
But fundamentally, as you said, it's just an alerting system, and so it's just how do we do data management?
You say colossal numbers. 800,000 is a lot. Did you see what their goal is?
No, I don't. Oh, the 7 million.
7
alerts a
million.
night.
7 million alerts per night. Yeah, there's going to be some real careful consideration that needs to go into sort of what this sorting and filtering system looks like to get down to what actually matters, right? Are you going to tag it with certain planets? Are you going to tag it with certain astronomical designators? I don't know what they're actually called, but I would imagine there's a bunch of different designators for the cosmic bodies, and so how do you tag them appropriately? How does this system understand what all that stuff is, and how does it parse it? Hopefully, there's some automated systems behind the scenes that know exactly what it's looking at, and then it can sort of tie those to the notifications. If this is just like, we noticed this change in this part of the sky, how specific are these notifications? I don't know, but being blasted with this many alerts is a huge problem. And actually, we've been speaking a lot about the lab tonight.
Mm.
We have somebody in the lab who's really interested in communications in disaster scenarios. You can imagine what would happen if we started getting like an asteroid headed towards Earth, if we got like 7 million notifications about it, just the trajectory just aiming towards us. Like that wouldn't be the most efficient way to communicate, I don't think. But
I mean, there's a lot here around. I mean, there's some other, I guess we'll go to the wider organization again, because there's something to be said here about I think what they're trying to get to is data transparency and immediacy. So basically, one of the things that they sort of highlight is that these will be able to go out, and they'll be able to quote the article, within minutes with each image, say, here is everything, go for it. There you go. That's that it's just available. Whereas other organizations have had, when they've got data like this, they've got implicit holds on it, so they don't have to release it straight away. They do have to release it within time period. So if this is just saying just chuck it out there and see what you see, it does fit into some film narratives where actually it's amateur astronomers find things rather than the officials, because you've got so many more people doing that. So yeah, it's really quite clever. I mean, the bit, as I think that you alluded to earlier, is metadata. Metadata is going to be such a key part of this, and basically making sure each picture is tagged with enough metadata to be able to distribute it properly, but then also evolve that metadata as to what is found on that piece, so then you can see changes over time. I mean, again, just going back to the actual physical aspect of this thing, the mirror in the camera is 28 foot.
Yeah.
I mean, having to manage, maintain, operate. So, I mean, the operation will be largely automated, I should imagine. But to maintain such a device that is, these things are not cheap and are not simple to manipulate. But presumably, it's going to need maintaining, cleaning, whatever. That's a lot, isn't it?
Yeah. Hey, I'm going to bring out my prop again.
Second viewing of the night.
Second viewing of the mount that is up. So I think you brought this up, the astronomer I think we'll hear obviously to and to find things that be able to
Okay, so we appear to have lost Nick at the moment, but maybe that's because he hasn't paid his bill for his prop to be used twice. So whilst we wait to see if Nick actually comes back and joins us, I guess just diving back into this piece, the way that this this program has come together, and just to generate these amount of alerts is just quite significant. So if you imagine the issues that certainly the human factors people would generate when you come and look at this, is all around how do you sort that data, how do you make sure it comes in and is allocated to the right people, is tagged appropriately, because it's not only going to generate a lot of these alerts, but you don't want them alerts going out to everybody. You're going to have the alerts going to the right people to do the right thing, and it's whether you allocate them alerts or people could subscribe to them, because there's obviously going to be a lot of audience to these. So if it's within just their own staff to look at, that's one thing. But if they are going to be as publicly available as they think they are, then we're going to have a much wider ability to see that data. But if you're going to subscribe into it, then the bandwidth has to be available. So this gives us a whole lot of physical issues as well, of making sure that if you subscribe to that, these feeds, that you can turn them on, off. How do you make sure that if somebody's hasn't got the storage ability at the end of what they're doing to be able to pull it back? Nick's joined us again now. So is this because did you not pay your rent on your the disc that you were holding up, and so you had to put another penny in the slot for it?
Here's the coin, right? The positive side is that we can do this from countries miles away. The bad side is that we are still dependent on bandwidth. Let me get back to my point here. So the fact that we can democratize this to small institutions, amateur astronomers being able to publish their findings, that's awesome. That is a great thing. Here's the structure side. Here's the bad side. I think what this means, though, is that even in that democratization, you're still, or at least people are still at the mercy of having those who have better tools or staffing. They might actually benefit from this disproportionately to some of those mature amateurs. Or oh my gosh, again, really. Amateurs or institutions.
You're really choppy now. God, this is exciting, isn't it? And I think Nick has now disappeared again. Oh no, you can vaguely hear him in the background. It's almost we back to what used to be called a séance, or what now is a Zoom meeting. Is there anybody there?
Quality's back, maybe.
No, you're vaguely coming across, but no, we can't really hear you. No, you've gone completely. So yeah, we'll see if Nick comes back to us at any time soon, but this might be a slightly quicker, the editing job Nick is going to have to do on this podcast tomorrow is going to be, or later on today, is going to be his own fault, really. So we'll do that with him. But oh no, he's coming back. Is he coming back? I don't. Oh, we've got some. Hey, he's back. Hello. No, you're not. you're not with us at all. You've kind of done that, and now you're frozen again. I think this is a you problem, not a restream problem. So we've had all the problems today. So we started off with restream issues about not being able to work out how to start the podcast, and now Nick just doesn't want to stay on the podcast. So I guess round up some of this story, because hopefully if Nick is to come back, we'll probably go into the next segment. Fundamentally, this whole
Maybe.
Oh,
here, can you hear me?
yes, we can hear you. Well, sort of. It's not cool. No.
I'm gonna restart my room.
Oh wow, we're going for the important stuff.
Yeah. I'm gonna I'll be right back. You just float for continue the story.
So, whilst Nick, okay, cool. Wow, that was a whole lot of stuff that nobody will ever comprehend. So, to go back to what I was saying, and yeah, good luck with Nick with editing this afterwards. This is the classic organizational HCI design problem of having so much information coming in, and how do we make sure that people have the ability to see the right information when they need to get it, because it's not only going to be available, it's got to be available in a timely manner to whatever they're using that data for. So the ability to, as we were saying earlier, tag things with the metadata, to be able to allocate it to the right people, whether they be on a subscription or an allocation basis. But just before Nick rudely interrupted us, we were talking about the ability for, if you're dialing into this as a end user and say an amateur astronomer wanting to use some of this data, how do we make sure that you not only have the bandwidth and ability to download all of this data, but actually understand that that you're going to get a lot of information, and that you need to, so before you even start downloading it, that where you don't want to get to is for after a night for all of your storage to be full, you kind of need to understand how much data you're going to get beforehand. So something around the system to be able to check and test that you've got a suitable amount of storage, and the notification that you will need, say, however many gigabytes of space available, and how long that will last you in the settings that you've got. There's also that other element about how much control do you allow people in terms of what they get. Do you have to develop a specific interface to allow them to select the areas that they're looking at, or do you have predefined channels of what it is that you need, so you're not having to have individual segments or individual allocations for people? You can just say you can subscribe to certain streams which gather you a certain amount of data. And so Nick is now back with us, looking all bright and sharp.
Hopefully much better.
Yes.
Okay, great. Okay. I think I have a lot of editing to do.
You really do.
Hey, but that's why you all come to the live show, to see the train wreck rather than I'm gonna polish this up for you. You won't even know that I dropped. All right, Barry, final thoughts on I could sit here and talk all night about this. Final thoughts on the astronomy oversaturation of alerts.
I think it's a really cool story, and I think I'd be really keen to understand how they solve the practicalities of data allocation, subscription, and the actual data management of it. So well done to them for being able to democratize the data in such a way, and look forward to see where it goes in the future.
Two final thoughts from me. This sort of always on sky, the sky that doesn't sleep, as the title would imply. I think having this type of thing would this might change our expectations around astronomy in a way that is maybe not healthy. Having sort of these expectations that there will be findings every day or every night, I don't think is a healthy way to think about our discoveries of the cosmos. I think there's there will be needing to be some sort of expectation setting. Um, on the flip side, though, I think this is a very positive story, and I think that this might actually feed some of those citizen science programs or platforms that actually changes how the public, participates in astronomy and science education. So I think ultimately it's a good thing. We just got to figure out the filtering problem. Okay. All right.
So-
With that, thank you to our friends over at Engadget and Gizmodo for our news stories this week. If you want to follow along, we do post the links to the original articles in our Discord, where you can join us for more discussion on these stories and much more. We're going to take a quick break, and then we'll be back to see what's going on in the field of aviation right after this.
Human Factors Cast brings you the best in human factors news, interviews, conference coverage, and overall fun conversations into each and every episode we produce. But we can't do it without you. The Human Factors Cast network is 100% listener supported. All the funds that go into running the show come from our listeners. Our patrons are our priority, and we want to ensure we're giving back to you for supporting us. Pledges start at just $1 per month and include rewards like access to our weekly Q&As with the hosts, personalized professional reviews, and Human Factors Minute, a Patreon-only weekly podcast where the hosts break down unique, obscure, and interesting human factors topics in just 1 minute. Patreon rewards are always evolving, so stop by patreon.com/humanfactorscast to see what support level may be right for you. Thank you, and remember, it depends.
If only the Patreon support could afford me better internet in my area. That would be really the trick here. I cannot wait until Google Fiber comes. Let's just say that. Huge thank you, as always, to our patrons. You keep the lights on over here. You keep all the services that we use running, and you fund the lab, believe it or not. A lot of the stuff that we're doing over there requires resources that we need access to, and you all are making it happen. So thank you so much for helping contribute to not only this podcast, but human factors science communication in general. We truly appreciate it. If you have the means to and want to become a Patreon supporter, patreon.com/humanfactorscast is the place to be. And there will be some additional benefits for patrons coming soon. So stay tuned for that announcement. There's some exciting stuff brewing behind the scenes. Okay. We've done this for the last couple episodes here, and I think this has been a really huge hit. A lot of people like this, so we're going to keep doing it. We're going to do it anyway. Let's get into our next segment. We call This Week in Aerospace, brought to you by our friends over at the HFES Aerospace Systems Technical Group. Elena, Phil, what's going on in aerospace?
Welcome back to the podcast. This is Elena and Phil from the Aerospace Systems Technical Group at HFES. Today, we're talking about something that sits at the intersection of aviation safety and human well-being, pilot mental health. Before we begin, a quick note. Today's episode touches on mental health topics, including stress and psychological well-being in high responsibility roles. If this is a sensitive topic for you, please feel free to skip this episode. We also want to note that we're not mental health professionals, and this conversation is for informational purpose only. It is not intended as medical or psychological advice. All right, let's jump back in. When we think about aviation safety, we often think about technology, training, and procedures. But aviation is a human-centered system, and the mental well-being of pilots play a critical role.
In recent years, several high-profile events have brought this issue into the spotlight. One of the most widely discussed cases was the Germanwings Flight 9525. which profoundly changed the conversation around pilot mental health worldwide. But beyond extreme cases like this accident, there's a quieter everyday reality. Pilots face stressors like financial strain, fatigue, divorce, family pressures, performance demands, just like all of us, but within a highly regulated, high responsibility profession. Research suggests that this is not a small issue. A 2021 study found that nearly half of the surveyed pilots met criteria for at least mild depressive symptoms, and yet many do not seek for help.
And that's a very key point, not seeking help. Because in aviation, mental health is not just a personal matter, it's tied directly to medical certification. Many pilots worry that reporting symptoms or seeking care could jeopardize their certificate and ultimately their career. So we have this tension. Mental health challenges are relatively common, but structural and cultural barriers discourage pilots from help seeking. Researchers have described this as a cultural and structural gap. The system promotes safety, but it may unintentionally discourage openness. So the big question becomes, how do you support pilots without increasing fear or stigma?
And that's where pilot peer support programs come in. Most people are familiar with the Employee Assistance Program, in which you call a hotline and speak to a psychologist or a counselor provided by your employer. But pilot peer support is different. Instead of calling an external professional, a pilot speaks with another trained pilot.
And that difference is why a peer support program is helpful. Pilots operate in a very specific professional culture, one built around precision, discipline, and performance under pressure. A fellow pilot will have a better understanding of the cockpit environment, the responsibility of demand, irregular schedules, and the unspoken norms of the profession. Peer supports aren't just colleagues offering casual advice. They receive structural training to handle issues like burnout, performance anxiety, fear after an incident, depression, and life stressors. The idea is to create a confidential, non-punitive first point of contact.
And confidentiality is absolutely central. If pilots fear that speaking up could cost their piloting license, they simply will not talk. Effective peer support depends on building trust. In 2024, researchers outlined 9 core competencies that define an effective peer support in aviation. These include skills such as active listening, maintaining confidentiality, demonstrating emotional intelligence, and knowing when to refer someone to professional care. What I found particularly striking is that these competencies are almost the opposite of traditional pilot training. Pilots are trained to identify problems quickly and execute procedures. Pilots are told to put their emotion into a box before stepping into the aircraft so as to focus solely on the mission. But peer support requires slowing down, listening without immediately trying to fix the issue.
And that contrast is fascinating. In the cockpit, decisiveness is essential, but in peer support, empathy is essential. Instead of running a checklist, you're building rapport. And this isn't just theoretical. Organizations are actively implementing these programs. For example, the Airline Pilot Association, ALPA, offers recurrent peer support training to its members. In Europe, the European Union Aviation Safety Agency has evaluated how peer support programs are being implemented across airlines. They found that large airlines reported that their support programs were fully operational by early 2023, but that implementation rate dropped to 63% for smaller airlines. They also reported that pilots strongly prefer direct personal contact with the peer than official company channels such as web platforms. There are also testimonials from Canadian pilot groups describing how peer support has helped colleagues navigate difficult periods while staying engaged in their careers.
So implementation is happening, there's institutional support, and there's professional training. But here's the important question. Do we actually know if these programs work? Despite strong interest and positive anecdotal reports, scientific evidence is still limited. A large scoping review published just this February screened more than 3,800 documents, and they identified only 3 empirical studies that formally evaluated pilot peer support programs. There was one survey that identified reason for pilots to contact their peer support program, and they found that pilots with clinically relevant symptoms were significantly less likely to seek support. The 2 other studies were focus groups and interviews with pilots on their perceived role of the peer support program. So we see that there's enthusiasm for pilot peer support, but there's still a significant evidence gap, especially for longitudinal impact of such programs.
Regulators and airlines need data to understand effectiveness, long-term outcomes, and potential unintended consequences. Mental health challenges are real. Barriers to care are real. Peer support program aims to address the gap in a way that aligns with the aviation culture.
Pilot peer support programs represent a cultural shift to empower pilots in addressing mental health challenges. They may not be a complete solution, but they signal something important. Aviation safety builds on human well-being. All right, so that's all we had for this week. So thanks for listening. And now back to Nick and Barry.
Eventually, whenever it chooses to switch over, it'll be back to us. Did your lights go out, sir?
Yeah, they have, and I'm trying to fix them back. It's just a day, isn't it?
What an episode this has been. Well, hey, thank you, Phil. Thank you, Elena. Appreciate you as always for breaking down the latest in the field of aviation, aerospace. Yes. Hey, let's get into one more thing before we go. We just need to say one more thing. Barry, what is your one more thing this week?
Ironically, no, I guess so. People in the lab and some others will be aware of this, but I've been trying to create some human factors tools, and I've been involved in developing software for a while, and you launch stuff, and that's all fine. I've never had a problem, but recently decided rather than moaning about the fact that there's no HF tools out there that I want to use that I like, that's not just a spreadsheet, I'm going to create some. And so I've developed, in the past couple of months, I've been developing a task analysis tool and finally shared it with some people for beta testing, of which I think, Nick, you've dived in there and a couple of others have as well. Give me really cool feedback. That's fantastic. But I've never been so nervous about having other people look at a piece of my work. And I don't know what it is. I don't know whether it's because it's like showing off a bit what I can do, or because it's my peers who are doing it and it's not just a customer in a way. It's people who actually know what they're talking about. But it's been a really different, almost nerve-wracking, nervous thing about saying to people, can you come and have a look at this and tell me what you think? It just felt like something completely different. So yeah, no, that's just been a bit of a massive experience for me in the past 2 weeks, which is weird.
Hopefully everybody's been nice about it and it's not like, hey, you should have had an example in here, and like what gives.
Yeah, I know if people are coming that critical and then highlighting where the stuff doesn't work, then I mean that'd be really bad.
No, the example thing was not your fault. It was not your fault. I'm assuming.
Oh, we fixed it. So that was that,
Yeah.
that, and that's exactly the point. Is there's been a couple of other things as well that you're sitting there going, but I can see this. Why can't? Oh, okay. That's why we get users in to have a look at it.
And this is not gas. It's genuinely a cool tool, and I'm excited to see others try it because it's a cool tool, man. You've built something cool.
Cool, thank you. We shall see. We're debating about what are the next steps, because other people have suggested that we make it available as an external tool and a paid for thing, and so that's my next thing. I don't know what we do with that, but we shall see. That'll be even more nerve-wracking.
Yeah, I'm sure.
What's your one more thing then, Nick?
Well, speaking of cool tools, you like Lego. You've in fact built some space Lego, and I like Lego, but I don't get Lego very often. My son, on the other hand, has received something in the neighborhood of like 10 Lego sets over the last 6 months for his birthday and Christmas, and has like struggled to build them. He's 6 years old. He, some of these sets are like 10 plus, not the most difficult thing to build, but the sheer number count of some of them is rather intimidating, right? And so he's done these big builds by himself, but he really enjoys the process of like having somebody help him and build with him. So I don't know if you're aware of this, Barry, but Lego has a builder app. And I think that's pretty common knowledge, is that there's a builder app for Lego that has like the interactive instructions. You can actually flip the model around in 3D space so you can actually see how all the pieces come together. The other thing that I've discovered with this Lego builder app is if you have two devices, so let's say a phone and another phone, you can put together build parties. And so you can collaboratively build a Lego set together with other people. And this has been such an amazing like bonding experience for me and my son. Like, he loves building Lego. He just doesn't love the whole thing. I love building Lego. And so now we can build a Lego set together. So we built the Ultimate Collector Series R2D2 together over the weekend, and it's really great. We've actually built a couple different models using this. One mode is basically like using the R2D2 example. You could be like, I build one leg, you build another leg, and then we, one of us builds this part of the body, another one of us builds this part of the body, and then we slap them together at the end, and it's like complete pieces. Then there's the other way that my son likes doing it, which is like this even more collaborative than that. You're opening up one bag and working on that bag together. So I'll build a part, he'll build a part, and then we'll trade parts and pieces, and then we're basically like passing around R2D2, like slapping pieces on it as the build is going on. And because the build is connected in across this party, it understands how much of the thing has been built, and so it'll stop you at key points. It'll make you go back and build things with other bags, so that way you can help kind of clean up. If I'm really fast and he's really slow, I can come back and help him with more pieces, and then we put them together. It's a really cool thing. I cannot say enough positive things about this experience. If you love Lego, if you love building things, and want to do it with like a partner, you could literally do this for date night. You could do this, with your friends for like an outing or something. Like, you can literally build together, and it's very cool and very well done, and just kudos to the Lego team for that. Super cool.
Nice. Sounds great.
All right. Well, that's it for today, everyone. If you like this episode and enjoy some of the discussion about space, I'll encourage you to go to listen to episode 305. Specifically that one. You know why? Because we talk about the evolution of space fashion, where we actually talk about the Axiom spacesuits. And yes, we do have a lab connection. Katie is our lab connection to that spacesuit. You can go listen to more about that in that episode 305. Comment wherever you're listening what you think of the story this week. Was it a train wreck? Maybe. For more in-depth discussion, you can join us on our Discord community. Visit our official website, sign up for our newsletter, stay up to date with all the latest in human factors news. If you like what you hear, you want to support the show and get me better internet, you can leave us a 5-star review wherever you're watching or listening right now. That is free for you to do and really helps out. 2, if you have if you want to be a little bit more helpful, you can let your friends and family know about the show. Word of mouth, it really helps us grow. And 3, if you have the financial means to and want to, you can support us on Patreon at patreon.com/humanfactorscast. As always, links to all of our socials and our website are in the description of this episode. Mr. Barry Kirby, thank you for dealing with my internet on the show today. Where can our listeners go and find you if they want to talk about Axiom spacesuits?
Well, you can come and find me on LinkedIn and Facebook. But if you want to come and also chat and hear me chat to people about human factors in general, you can find me on 1202 The Human Factors Podcast at 1202pod.com.
As for me, I've been your host, Nick Roome. You can find me across social media at Nick_Roome. Thanks again for tuning in to Human Factors Cast. Until next time, it depends. All right, that was quicker this week. Yeah,
Music.
It's going. It's going. Do you not hear it? Oh, it's going. I hear it.
I can hear it vaguely.
Yeah. Well, you're not wearing your headphones tonight.
No, but normally my speakers are good enough.
All right, here. I'll pass it for you.
Oh,
yeah. Here. Now I got to get back to the right fade. All right, there we go.
Well, that was a roller coaster.
It was a roller coaster. It was a great show. Still, I'm gonna have to do a little bit of editing in post. That's okay.
Just a little.
I have the timestamps. Wait, hold on. I have work notes on here. I have the timestamps written down right there. No.
Yeah.
Chicken scratches. It'll be fine.
There's lots of good. I mean, a couple of good stories actually. It's I do like stories that seem completely crazy and out there, but actually then all do come back to almost basic, core human factors principles.
You know what? I was really skeptical. Can I tell you? This is one of those episodes where I was like, how much are we going to have to talk about the Artemis schedule changing? Like, how much? How much can we say?
But I think there's two things to that. One is, again, I think we are, even like sort of over the past 5 years, we've become a lot better at diving into stories and getting to nuggets, but also being able to easily, you'll mention something that'll then spin off another bit of conversation, and
yeah, that's true.
Stuff like that. That stuff, and it's almost having the faith in that it does work, because I always over prepare. I have to do it and then don't use half of what I do. And with this, I've now taught myself to, I could, if I've only got a handful of, maybe 5 points or something, that's more than enough. We will, between us, we can more than manage that. That's not a drop. Whereas when we first started, I was like, no, I must have pages of notes and get through everything. So I think that's a level of trust in each other, but also confidence in what we do. So
I think so.
But yes, this could have been a stretch if it's also going to help. I think you've got to be in the right frame of mind to make it work. Because if you've had because Amanda nearly sent you a message about 3 hours ago saying Barry is really grumpy and in a bad mood, you might want to think about that when you're doing the episode. Because long day, all that sort of stuff, and but then when I come up here to do this, then it's a different thing. So I leave bad-tempered Barry outside the door.
Oh, same. Yeah, I had not a bad day, but a very busy day, and I don't know if like my usual state of flustered is like visible on the podcast. Like I don't know what it was tonight, but like, so let me give you, we're behind the scenes in the post show. Normally when I have internet issues, I get really frustrated with it. Like I am just like, oh my God, this thing again, despite like, and this happens during my workday too. It's not like just isolated to the podcast. It happens during calls, and it has everything to do with the offerings in the area. So like this is literally the best I got for the cost. Because I do not want to pay $200 a month for the internet that it would take to do this. And even this same internet with any other provider would be, $100 a month, and I'm paying half that. So once Google Fiber, you need to come just a few streets this way, and then hopefully all will be good. That's 2028, just a few streets. Yeah, sure.
It again.
What's that?
Restream just crashed out again,
No way.
like it did in the pre-show. Not a you issue, but a Restream issue. I don't know.
That's odd because it nothing on my end.
Okay, yeah, it just dropped me out, and I could still sort of hear you, but then it was saying reconnecting to host.
Yeah, it might be Restream issues too. I don't know, but anyway, when these issues happen, I normally get super frustrated because they're usually persistent. Thankfully, tonight it was only like an 8-minute gap that I now have to go back and edit for clarity, which is fine. I don't mind doing edits. You know, we record these as a one shot most of the time, and the amount of editing that I do is mostly minimal. Actually, you get a lot of the conversation in there, but you know, some weeks are worse than others, and I got to go in and really, you know, with a surgical knife go, okay, I said this here, and then cut that, and then put it here, and then, you know, make the conversation flow as if it's natural and there was not internet issues. But tonight there's no unbridled rage. It's just I need to do it, and that's fine. Like, it was a good episode. That's how good I feel about the episode.
Cool. I like the confidence. It's all there. Tired now though.
Oh, I'm sure. Has this oh, you know, it's gonna be weird next time we do this.
Why?
Time changes.
Oh.
So what
Oh, it's that strange couple of weeks where I'm invariably not on time because you
it might be. So
change.
and then here's an even worse twist in this whole thing. My time doesn't actually change.
Oh, of course, because you where you live now, you've abolished time zones.
Exactly. Abolish time changing. Yes. So for half of the year, I'm on Pacific time, and then the other half of the year, I'm on Mountain time. So starting next week, I will be on Pacific time. So all of my meetings are shifted 1 hour earlier for me. So
wow,
that's a joy. It's quite nice to wake up at the same time every morning, and then just have suddenly, you know, in the fall, all my meetings 1 hour later, and in the spring, now they're going to be all 1 hour earlier. But that's okay. I'm okay. I'm used to it.
Yeah, it's quite interesting at the moment. I've got not a lot, but I've got meetings now with Japan, and sort of managing them. So their afternoons is our early mornings. So regularly have like sort of 7 o'clock. So when we get to daylight savings, that's going to mess all that up as well. So Craig, that might. Oh, I need to do the maths on that.
Yeah. But, when does your time change?
I think it's at the end of this month. I should know this. Okay. 29th of March, we go forward an hour.
Okay. All right. So next time we're live is going to be the 19th.
So it'll be before that.
So we'll have some weirdness. Let's see here. My local time is going to be what? My local time will be 1:30. So we'll actually go even earlier. We'll go 1:30 to.
No, because
for me, it will be 1 hour earlier for me, but the time does not actually change. Maybe hang on. This is
because if your time is not changing, my time's not changing, then nothing changes. It'll be the following one where I will be an hour. My time goes forward an hour, so that means that I will be an hour out. So yeah, so I'll be an hour earlier for you.
So what I'm saying is that what time do we normally start? Your time is like what, 9:30?
9:30 we normally start now.
How do you feel about starting at 8:30 next time? And then back
Yeah.
to 9:30 the week after?
Probably. I think
Or
that
the
should be
time
fine.
after? Okay. All
Yeah.
right. So I think that's what's going to happen. So let me here. I think I'm going to send a calendar invite just so that
That's probably a good idea.
so that way it does all the translation for us. Okay, 19th at what I will have as
If you put it in for the 19th, at the date that you, at the time that you want it, and then
Yeah.
send that through, and we'll see what it comes up as.
okay here. Week.
That's why I like Outlook. That now does all the hard work.
I named it podcast recording on the weird week. Which email do you want it sent to? Type it in the chat. Your Outlook?
No, yeah, McKay Sharp one.
Okay. Gotcha.
My whole world lives in that.
All right, I'm gonna invite my personal one to it as well. Okay, there you go. All right, I've just sent it along.
Okay.
Let's see what it pops up as on your calendar.
Oh, yeah. Yes, so that's come up as 8:30 for me.
Okay. All right. So what we're saying is that we will be back on Thursday the 19th at 1:30 p.m. Pacific time. 1, 2, 3, 4, 4:30 p.m. Pacific or Eastern time, and 8:30 p.m. GMT.
GMT, yeah.
Okay. Hooray! Time zones. All right, and then here I'll actually say what's back to normal time.
The next one will be the 2nd of April.
2nd of April, and we'll say podcast recording back to normal time. Okay, there you go. And then
what's after that?
Are we going to be able to talk about Project Hail Mary next time? Or is it the time after? Let's see. So 19. Oh, that's when it comes out, right?
Oh, yeah, it is.
Okay, so we'll be very excited. I will probably have finished the book by then.
Oh, that's a point, actually. Whew, we might have to cancel it if I'm going to go and see it at the cinema.
Ooh. Midnight showing, right?
Oh, that would be cool. Yeah, depends.
Well, we record on Thursday.
If I could, yeah, depending on when the actually time comes in, I'm going to try and do. I'll try and do what I can to watch it before we actually.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Before we do, because if it comes out, they might do an early on the 19th show. It depends what time they launch it in the cinemas, I guess.
Oh, okay, yeah.
So if they do like morning or matinee type things, then I can go and do that.
It's a Thursday. Do they release on Thursdays there? They release on Fridays here.
I'm fairly sure it's got. Right, let me just check.
I cannot type.
Yeah, it's releasing new cinemas on the 19th. So,
March 20 here. Yeah, okay.
Choose. Yes. Choose my venue. So I'm in. It must be coming up.
You'll have to give all the human factors notes.
Yeah. So. Oh, what? That can't be right. Seems to say that there is some there for the 14th of March.
What? The 14th.
How is that possible? I don't understand why that's a thing. Oh, they're expensive seats.
Oh.
They're like $8.99. So it must be a special viewing or something like that. Amanda goes to the cinema lots more than I do. And then there's some on the 15th. But yeah, so there's viewings on the 14th and 15th for some reason. But then
An early showing or something.
So on the 19th, when it's official, then the earliest one I can do is 3:30. If I could do that one, then that'll finish at 6:30. Means I'm in plenty of time for us to be there chatting for 8:30.
Ooh.
Why these two early showings? I don't understand what they're about.
It might be advanced screenings.
Yeah.
Sometimes you'll get those. Let's see. I think I'm going on the 21st, so I will see it, unfortunately, after that episode. But you can give at least initial impressions.
Yeah.
And then the next time we meet, we can talk all about it.
Awesome. That sounds fun. I'm trying to work.
Well, I will have read the book at that point, so I mean, you can. I guess we could do sort of a semi-spoiler cast at the end in our post show. I'd be like, so is this thing in the book? Is that this thing was in the book? Is it in the movie? And you can kind of compare and contrast against the. And that way we put it in the post show, so that way anyone who doesn't want to get spoiled can drop.
Yes. No, that's a good idea. So,
hooray! We dropped again. Look at that.
Rock and roll. Oh, there we go. Well, we probably pushed our luck as far as we can now.
I think so.
Got your second thing, so let's accept that. Good, that's in.
You booked the ticket?
No, I haven't booked the ticket. I want to chat to Amanda to make sure I'm not being completely dumb. Because if that is available on the 14th of March, I'm going to watch it on the 14th of March.
Oh yeah, sure.
Because what am I doing on the 14th of March? Oh, I can't watch it on the 14th of March. Oh, I could watch
Did
it.
You say there was 15?
It was the 15th, and it's Mother's Day, so I could potentially say to Amanda for Mother's Day. I mean, that would be cool. But yeah, the 14th, I'm going to watch the one of the last Six Nations games. Watch rugby. So, which also reminds me, I must buy train tickets. So it's all the admin I need to do. It's not great.
Hey, while we're here in the post show, I'm gonna go ahead and make 317 and title TBD. Share it, copy, comments. There we go, copy. We can prep the show notes for next time. I think I've found a rhythm with the news stories again. So hopefully those are... I don't know. I tend to have ebbs and flows with the stories. 19th. And if you have news stories, if you're watching or listening and you have news stories, please drop them into our Discord. We would love to hear from the community on what's going on. That's the notes for 317.
Cool.
I'll, of course, send them.
I was going to say that I'm going to lose them.
But here we can at least clean up a little bit and make them a blank slate for next time.
And the right date on them. That's
and the right date.
And then I'd also put EHF 27 instead of 26. I was like,
holy moly!
Still,
look at us go! Look at us go!
Anyway.
I would love to templatize this at some point and like actually do work on this to make it better.
Yeah, make it go. Yeah, it's nice.
It's usable, but it's not sleek. I want to make it sleek.
Yeah, it does the job, I guess. Cool.
What I would love is to like be able to publish these and be like, here's what we did. Although that might.
This is what we were supposed to do.
This is what we were gonna say, and then we went totally off the rails. People don't know that right now. Although, well, we used to publicize the notes so that way people could comment on it. Maybe we do that again. I don't know.
It's a bit like when the president and stuff gives a speech and they release the speech beforehand, and then it just goes completely off piste. But that's not in our pre-prepared notes.
That's All right. Well, hey, we're at time. Thank you all for joining us tonight and talking space with us. And if you stick around until, well, if for discussion in between the shows, of course, you can always join us on our Discord and chat with us there. If you are going to the healthcare symposium or EHF, please let us know. We'd love to meet up with you if you're there. I'm not going to either, but I know some folks that are, so we can certainly talk about that in the meantime. We'll be back in just 2 weeks' time. Like we said, what is the right date, Barry? It's March 19th.
Yep.
All right, we'll be back on March 19th. Talk about all things human factors. And yes, thank you all for the wonderful evening. And anything else, Barry?
No, I'm good. It's just
right.
raining, so there we go.
All right, go get some sleep. Bye, everybody. Bye. Thank you.
Are you tired of boring lectures and textbooks on human factors and UX? Well, grab your headphones and get ready for a wild ride with the Human Factors Minute podcast. Each minute is like a mini crash course packed with valuable insights and information on various organizations, conferences, usability methods, theories, models, certifications, tools, and much more. We'll take you on a journey through the fascinating world of human factors, from the ancient history to the latest trends and developments. Listen in as we explore the field and discover new ways to enhance the user experience. From the Think Aloud protocol to the critical incident technique, focus groups, iterative design, we'll make sure that you're the smartest person in the room. Tune in on the 10th, the 20th, and the last day of every month for a new and interesting tidbit related to human factors. Don't miss out on the Human Factors Minute podcast, your ultimate source for all things human factors.
Human Factors Cast brings you the best in human factors news, interviews, conference coverage, and overall fun conversations into each and every episode we produce. But we can't do it without you. The Human Factors Cast network is 100% listener supported. All the funds that go into running the show come from our listeners. Our patrons are our priority, and we want to ensure we're giving back to you for supporting us. Pledges start at just $1 per month and include rewards like access to our monthly Q&As with the hosts, personalized professional reviews, and access to the full library of Human Factors Minute, a weekly podcast where the hosts break down unique, obscure, and interesting human factors topics in just 1 minute. Patreon rewards are always evolving, so stop by patreon.com/humanfactorscast to see what support level may be right for you. Thank you, and remember,